I want countries in Asia to change their treatment of Ukraine. Zelenskyy.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said during his press conference on the night of 23 April that the Ukrainian resistance to the Russian invasion has already changed the treatment of Ukraine by countries in Europe, and now the time has come for countries in Asia to do the same, as the Russian aggression against Ukraine will impact them too. Quote, "We managed to change, with our unity and strength, the treatment of Ukraine by many European countries. I would very much like countries in Asia to change their treatment of Ukraine, too. Do I sense that they have? No. Have they changed it? I think their people have, for sure. The people of these states know us well. And I feel that the leaders of these countries are getting there." Details. Zelenskyy added that whereas earlier, countries in Asia were very close to the Soviet Union and, after its collapse, to Russia as its successor, now Ukraine is changing that. The president thinks that leaders of these countries are now seeing that no country should be allowed to violate the world order, to take someone else's territory, to enforce its own rules in other countries and on other continents. Now, because of the war, those 90 million tons are what those other countries will simply not receive. According to Zelenskyy, that will lead to rising prices and shortages.
This post received a score of 27,000, with an upvote ratio of 85%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Full quote. I would very much like countries in Asia to change their treatment of Ukraine, too. Do I sense that they have? No. Have they changed it? I think their people have, for sure. The people of these states know us well. And I feel that the leaders of these countries are getting there. Zelenskyy added that whereas earlier, countries in Asia were very close to the Soviet Union and, after its collapse, to Russia as its successor, now Ukraine is changing that. To me at least, this sounds a good deal more reasonable than the snippet in the headline. With the added context, it sounds much less like a demand and more like him just describing a trend he's seeing and hoping it continues.
Power of the perspective.
Don't expect military aids and military alliances. Pakistan has never had a democratic PM complete a full term since independence. They got PM kicked out just now for upsetting military leadership. Myanmar fell to military rule and they started doing genocides. Basically, a whole lot of bullshit prevents them from joining any global military alliance or upsetting any global power.
Plus then there is the Central Asian countries with loose Russian cooperation agreements, the Southern Caucasus and their geopolitics, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia and its breakaways, and the Middle East. Asia is big and has a lot of different contests going on between multiple parties that have more impact on them.
Dunno about other countries, but Kazakhstan announced that they don't recognize separatist states. Nor do they recognize the annexation of Crimea. They have already sent 3 batches of humanitarian aid and a good chunk of that aid was directly donated by the population itself.
Honestly, it's quite simple. No country will forgo its own interests for another country, especially one that is in another continent. Countries in Europe, us and some countries in Asia are against Russia here because it suits their interest.
Anti-Russian sentiment painting Russians as wholly non-European Easterners and instead as Asiatic hordes of barbarians is a very European and Western sentiment reflected in their centuries-long relationship of viewing areas like Africa, Russia, Eurasia, the Caucasus or Turkey as outside, Europe and distinctly non-European. Other countries which have strained relationships with modern Russia like Afghanistan, ex-Soviet satellites, China, Japan, etc., don't have this same exact geopolitical rivalry, disdain, or enmity that Western Europe has with Russia. The general relationship of Asian states to Russia, while not necessarily supportive or strong or friendly, is more out of convenience in securing valuable resources from the central areas of the Eurasian landmass. The reason Western countries support Ukraine so fervently isn't because they love Ukraine or anything.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.